What's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of All Shit I'm 40. This is your man Gene Lott, and we are here to give you another fantastic show. We got something special in store for y'all today, and this is going to be an excellent conversation, and we actually have a guest on. So let me introduce the foursome we have tonight. Well, it looks like a fivesome. It's always a sum. All right, man, let's go ahead and introduce the crew tonight. What's going on?
What's going on, y'all? It's Marques. I'm glad to be back, man. Really looking forward to hearing this conversation, for sure.
Joe Brickhouse. Thanks again for the opportunity, Gene. Let's get it.
Joe's on a little vacation.
Yeah,
he looks relaxed.
I get a little me time to get out and enjoy,
You look relaxed.
March. He do.
Get away from the kids for the weekend. So, shout out to my homies for setting the trip up, and we went out and had a good time. So, I'm relaxed. Let's do this.
Sweet. Hey, everybody, it's Terrence, a.k.a. Big Gipp. Just happy to be back on the podcast with the fellas again. Looking forward to this topic.
And let me just shout out Gibby and Marques. We had a festive before we started today. Like, we actually felt like we was like some real superstars. We had food in the green room.
Yeah. Backstage pass.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, we had some fried chicken. We had some seafood salad. We had the noodles? What you call them?
That's pasta salad.
Pasta salad. And we had the baked beans. I like to mix the pasta salad and baked beans together. You know, that's my cookout joint.
Oh, yeah, there's some leftover food that we had for Taste Buds, man.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Taste Buds.
Yeah, we had Taste Buds LLC.
Oh, yeah.
We supply all your catering needs.
You got an Instagram?
Yeah, we, what is that? Taste Buds 04 is our name on,
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Taste Buds 04. So for all your catering needs, man, reach out to Taste Buds. Reach out to the fellas. But what he neglected to tell y'all is they also had glizzies without the buns and some onions. And they would.
Oh yeah, we definitely got the.
You got the bun. They were gonna slide in there.
We had the buns.
So we had some raw glizzies.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
But I had to bring it back since I just got the fellas over here, man. I had to go back old school and bring the sliced bread down here. If you don't know what to do with that sliced bread,
there you go.
It's on you.
And he got the mustard. There you go. Oh, man. All right, yo. We got a special guest with us tonight, man. One of our homeboys, a very distinguished gentleman, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead, brother.
Appreciate the opportunity tonight, fellas. Tyson, friends with all the guys here, and asked me to come on, so happy to participate. Happy for the invitation.
All right, that's Tyson Brown for y'all, okay? And before we get started, y'all know it's what we do here at All Shit I'm 40. We're going to go around and see what everybody's drinking today. So I have Victory Berry Monkey. Now, me and Gibby, and shoot, I think most of us here, we're fans of Victory, okay? Mm-hmm. Shout out to Victory. We are not sponsored by them, okay? We just drink their beer.
You could be.
We could be. Victory, holla at us. We love the Golden Monkey, and we also love the White Monkey. Now we got the Berry Monkey, and this is a fruited sour triple. Shout out to our boy Dunn, who loves triples also. Give me what you drinking on.
Since I'm home doing this podcast, I got a little bit of a selection here. I got this Port Antonio Hurricane cocktail that I got from actually a black vendor who actually made this. They're located in Montgomery County, Maryland. Then I'm also drinking a Long Island. Double fisting over here. I'm drinking a Long Island from Bartesian.
See, now you can tell the Negroes who work from home out here double fisted. The rest of us gotta get up in the morning, gotta drive 45 minutes. Oh, I'm talking about myself.
Is it 45 minutes for you?
Man, it's 45-minute drive at least.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't like y'all. Man.
See, we got to get you down this way and it'll be a little closer.
Oh, man, just a little bit. 5 minutes. Joe, what you drinking on, baby?
One hand, Golden Monkey. Other hand, something that somebody poured me.
The
Hurricane. And I got my eye on this nice pills that I brought back.
And like he literally does have his eye on it. Like he's leaning in the chair right now, like taking a look at it.
Y'all said I went on a trip, drank some really good beer last weekend. I brought some back for the fellas to try out. So
awesome.
That's what's up.
All right, what you got, guest?
I got a two-hearted IPA from Bell's.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with Bills.
Yeah,
Shout out to
it's
Bills.
pretty good.
That's legit.
We're not sponsored by them. This is not nothing to give us. This is stuff we bought on our own. That's a disclaimer I gotta add. You know.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but if y'all do want to sponsor us, please reach out. Yeah, Marques, what you got?
Whatever I had is gone.
Marques finished
My
it.
cup.
He finished it. Oh man,
Oh
I
goodness.
wish I could tell you about it. Yeah, it's gone.
man. So y'all ready to kick this off?
Do it, man.
All right. So today's topic is it's not a touchy one, but it's an interesting one.
This I think is a little touchy, in my opinion.
You think so?
I think it's a little touchy.
All right. So you know what?
Especially after, I had to do my little notes. After my notes, I did get a little into my feelings a little bit.
Well, Gibby, you want to kick it off? Tell everybody what we're talking about, and we can say how we're divided in the room.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. We ain't even planned this.
Yeah, we didn't even plan it.
I mean, pretty much the topic in a whole is HBCU versus PWI of what school that you should choose.
Okay.
And which direction you should go. I mean, either for myself, I went to a HBCU, Norfolk State University, behold the green and gold.
There it is.
But again, I think it's us having more of a conversation of, in this day and age, which direction will we push our kids, or suggest, not even push, but suggest, should they go to a PWI or should they go to a HBCU?
Okay. So to kick it off, Terrence already started it. Let's go around the room so everybody know what schools everybody went to. So Joe.
I mean, it's only one.
Joe has mentioned it millions of times already.
It's no comparison. And I'm putting my school up against the PWIs. Like, that's how proud I am of my school when it comes to academics. For me, it was affordability, and I'm gonna get into that when we talk culture.
Did he give the name?
Pride.
Did he say the name?
It's
Not
North Carolina A&T.
Thank you.
Aggie Pride. They hear it in my voice. They ain't even got to say it. You know what I'm saying? When I say no one,
like
If y'all can't hear Joe has the gangster leaning back. I'm trying to tell this joker to move forward because I'm not going to be editing your audio.
I'm feeling good right now, man.
Hey, move your chair
I'm
closer.
feeling like a seasoned podcaster right now.
All right. So Tyson, where'd you go, man? Tell us about your college.
Yeah, so undergrad and grad was at James Madison University
Okay.
in Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Which is a nice campus. I seen that campus for the first time.
What y'all
man.
get y'all thing with landscape by Disney or something, or the
Man,
same
no
people
bullshit.
or something like that?
It's immaculate, man.
It is.
I
is.
can't. Yeah, it is a gorgeous.
Dude, we went up there to go to the mountains. What's that? Luray Caverns and shit.
Madison and Luray, yeah.
Man, I just went on that campus and I was like, shit. But we're gonna get into that. I don't know if I would have survived that visit. All right, finally, Marques, where'd you go, man?
Two-time College Park graduate.
Whoop whoop. Terps.
Even though,
College Park.
yeah, they couldn't do it against Alabama, but
I was watching that game.
it's all good.
It's like halftime, a whole nother team came, man. It was crazy.
They got West Virginia, so I'm good with that.
Yep, cool.
Hey, Maryland girls look good too.
Yeah, Maryland girls definitely look good. Yes.
Last but not least,
Well, one of the oldest black colleges in the United States and the oldest black college in the state of Maryland. Behold, the black and gold, the Bowie State University. All right, and I'm legacy. Both of my parents graduated from Bowie State.
I feel like we need air horns for that.
Oh, damn, where my buttons at? I still ain't programmed that shit.
Oh man.
Oh, man, hold on. I'm going to program the air horn. Hold on.
No.
Nah.
That's
Oh, hold on. That might have been it. Nah.
Still not it.
That still wasn't it? Damn.
That's next week's show.
All right, next week we're going to get that junk cranking. But, yes, the Bowie State University. I am legacy up there, and I am a giving alum. And my team, who I play for, is in the Hall of Fame there. So my name is in branch there for the rest of my life and for the lives of my children and grandchildren. But yes, Bowie State University.
Hey, get back to your schools, fellas.
You have to.
Absolutely.
And
Podcast.
that is a good segue.
Get back to your schools, man.
Great segue. So I'm going to kick it off with my opinion. Coming out of high school, I had a choice. I had a choice to go to several PWIs. I had a choice to go to several HBCUs. Yeah. And thank God for sports and, a little bit of academics. But I would have to say, for me, personally, my experience, going to a HBCU is something that I needed because I needed that hands-on, one-on-one pushing. And I wouldn't say, and I'm talking just purely academics right now, not even athletics. Mm-hmm. But the type of student I was and the type of person I am even to this day, I've gotten better, is sometimes my focus can go left and right. And that's something that HBCUs kind of gave to me, and from what I saw, was you still got that hands-on. Like, I had professors that would call me, hey, man, why you ain't in class? Yeah. Or why you ain't come to class? Or when I got hurt playing football, literally was still giving me assignments, was coming to the house. My mentor and one of my professors, may he rest in peace, Dr. Vance, came to my graduation party and partied with me and drunk with me that whole night. Called his wife, said, I'm not coming home because I'm partying here with Young Lot. That's what he used to call me, Young Lot. And it's just that, it was just that bond that I felt like I couldn't get at any other PWI, So that's how I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to start off with that. Anybody else?
Yeah, I know when I was thinking about going to school, I also was a student athlete coming out of high school, and I had multiple schools, I guess I could say knocking on my door, but back then it was more male knocking at my door more than anything else. Had plenty of schools that was interesting to me, and I just remember talking to one of my mentors, who was my scoutmaster for Boy Scouts. Shout out to Steve Blake. He pretty much came at me and was like, "Hey, you can go to a large school like a PWI." Where you're pretty much known for your social security number, or you can go to a school where they actually know your name. And I definitely, kept that in the back of my mind when I was trying to pick my school. Like, man, I have seen videos, movies, been on colleges' campuses before and seen those like freshman orientation rooms where it's hundreds of people in there. And is that the type of education that I want, or do I want more of a smaller arena where when I do walk in that room, that professor does know my name? So I chose to go to an HBCU where it was a little bit smaller, and the professors didn't know my name, which wasn't always the best.
Right, definitely. Marques, tell me about you. What was your what went into you going to Maryland?
So, before I preface this, I would say, Maryland's a great school. I definitely reaped some benefits going there for sure. In my career and internships and beyond that. Maryland was not my top choice to go to.
Oh wow,
bro, this is interesting. Okay,
at all.
Man, a lot with you, Marques.
I know the last dirty.
I swear, I know you for some years.
Right, I mean, learning.
Maryland was not my top choice. Maryland was not my top 5 choice.
Wow.
Maryland was not my choice at all.
Whoa.
I never wanted to go to Maryland. I didn't even want to apply to Maryland.
Wow.
Some members, not all, some members of my family, forced me because, they're paying the tuition, they're paying the bills. But their feelings were, and not all of them, some of them, their feelings were, and for lack of better words, that you would not be competitive in the job market if you go to HBCU. Their thought was, if I go to HBCU and I graduated, and I apply for a job, and then you have my resume, honors, whatever, and then you have another kid, black, who has the exact same credentials, exact same major. Because he went to a PWI, my resume would not even be considered. I wouldn't even get in for the interview. That was their feeling. That was their belief. So I even remember the night, like in the fall of my senior year, had this big blow up with my family because my top choice to go to was actually A&T. That's where
Oh, look at Joe be shaking his head. Look at Joe. I think Joe just got chubby.
You're all right with me.
Oh, wow.
I remember
Wow.
I applied. A&T was the first school to accept me. I was hyped, showing a letter to everybody. Yeah. That's when the fight started. Like, no, you're not going.
But did they know that was like one of the top HBCUs, especially for like engineering and
And that's actually what I was going to go for, is engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that. But again, they did not think HBCUs compared to PWI, like if I went to, I guess, an Ivy League school or whatever, was not good enough.
Wow.
That was their feeling. So, again, I didn't even want to apply to Maryland, but hey, it's a 2-part thing. I applied it. I got in. So I ended up going.
So let me ask you a side question.
Yo.
Did that same thought pattern go into them having you go to DeMatha?
Hands down.
But
Because my home school was going to be Largo.
Didn't your parents?
You was
going
to be aligned with me.
It was, yeah.
Didn't your parents go to Maryland too?
My father did, yep.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So yeah, there's a little legacy there, yep.
So you was going to be a Largo line with me.
It's going to be a longer line, bro.
But we had a whole bunch of people that came out of Largo and doing well for themselves.
I know, but not. They were like, hey, when I was in 6th grade, about to go to middle school, they're like, hell no.
Different generation.
Different generation.
Yeah.
Different generation.
We're gonna get into that. Tyson, go ahead, man. You go ahead and jump in.
See, it's an interesting question. I think school for me was I wanted to be an athletic trainer. I wanted to be the person that ran out like when you got injured on the field and like
Come up a little closer.
taped you up, that sort of thing. That was my aspiration at the point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So my school choices were really built around what schools had that. I could do that. Everybody on my side of the family and my wife's side of the family have all gone to HBCUs. So really my wife and I are the only two that didn't kind of buck the trend and ended up at PWI. But for me, it was about kinesiology. It was about the major.
Right.
And within like Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland, like there were no strictly focused kinesiology majors at HBCUs. Now I applied to Virginia State, Elizabeth City,
Right.
got in, but it absolutely was about the major for me, which was the defining, like I can do this here, and I don't see it at the other institutions. So that's what drove me to that. And then I got to campus and went for my visit. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
Like I can do this,
Right.
Yeah, this is all right. But for me, it was about the major. It was about the course of study. And people try to tell me, oh, well, you can do biology. I was like, well, yeah, but biology is not the same thing as kinesiology, right? I know there's a science element to it, but it's not the same. You can't fit a round peg into a square hole, right? So,
Right.
that's what it came down to for me.
Wow. So this is beautiful because literally everybody has differing reasons. And Marques, yours surprised me like literally the most. Like I just like Gibby said, we didn't know you for a long time. We learning more things about you than we ever.
I didn't even know the dude's nickname was Dirty.
Dirty. Like we found this out, Dirty.
How was your name? Dirty, and I known you forever.
But Gibby, we had his Instagram for a minute, and I don't
read
realize
Instagram
that it
names.
said Dirty.
I look at the pictures to make sure it's the person, so I ain't getting catfish.
Right.
It's not something that I advertise and tell people about, simply because if I was to say that to some people, they're immediately
They'll catch offense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they take offense. They may look at me negatively, even though I didn't believe that. I
Right.
still don't believe that. Like my younger sister, she went to Morgan State, biology degree. She's got a PhD before she turned 28,
Right.
and now she's working for a major medical firm. And she's also going back to Morgan State to write curriculums.
Oh wow. Oh, she's doing it.
Go Bears.
She's doing it.
She's doing it.
So that
All from HBCU.
just her right there is just proof that no, you're not less valuable going to an HBCU.
And I think the prevailing argument, and this is something that I've had this discussion before, actually with a friend of all of ours, most of us, my man Tommy Benz, went to University of Kentucky. And the prevailing argument, which we talked about, was that sometimes people think being at a certain college, being at a PWI, is more and less, how can I phrase this, preparing you for the world.
Yeah.
While being at a HBCU, some people think is not preparing you for the world because you're around your own people. I tend to agree but disagree with that, because I know being at Bowie State prepared me for the world, where we still wasn't coddled. We were coddled in some aspects, but like when it came to dealing with the financial aid, dealing with your class and stuff, literally it was like, man, you gotta handle this on your own. You gotta do it on your own.
We wasn't coddled at all.
We wasn't coddled in that aspect. How when it came to housing and stuff, a lot of stuff we had to figure out on our own.
And when you get out in this real world, life is hard.
Life is hard.
So it really kind of prepare you to get kind of quote unquote smacked in the face.
Right. Like food. What you gonna do? How you gonna eat?
It's preparation. It's just preparation in different ways.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it benefits obviously to both. I think the part that's always interesting when this conversation comes up is that it's always this versus, right? Like the whole point of like us going to school is to get educated. That's what our parents wanted. That's what the generation before us wanted. Right. Was just for us to be educated. Granted, there's some more opportunities when given the end of segregation, so to speak, and the books opening up for people to go to school at PWIs, but it seems a little counterproductive for us, at least in my opinion, to continue to kind of perpetuate this us versus them
the mentality.
Right. The whole purpose is for us to get educated and for us to do better for our kids.
That's true.
We just get a different way.
Now we can still go deeper, because just recently Morgan State, Bowie State, Compton won a landmark lawsuit against the state of Maryland.
Don't forget UMES.
Oh, yeah, UMES. Shout out to the Hawks. Don't walk on the grass. They will cut you. Can't walk on the grass. My sister graduated from UMES. Won a landmark court case where they finally got the right amount of funding that they were owed under the University of Maryland system. Now, I'm going to kick some history to y'all real quick, for those who don't know. Every school in Maryland, with the exception of Morgan State, I believe, falls under the University of Maryland system. So University of Maryland is the flagship school. That's why you have University of Maryland Baltimore. That's why you have UMBC. That's why you have University of Maryland Eastern Shore. The only one who bucked that trend was Bowie State. Bowie State was going to be University of Maryland at Bowie.
Oh, wow.
But back in the early 80s, while it was still Bowie State College, and they were doing the whole University of Maryland system, they had big protests on campus. I heard about it, but I really, really found out about it like a couple of years ago. Like, it was major league protests. Like, this was big. They were trying to fold Bowie State under the system. That's how Eastern Shore lost their football team.
Oh.
They were
because of that.
in the North Carolina system.
Yep.
Right?
That's how they lost their football team. But Bowie State was like, no, we have our own identity. Grant us university status, blah, 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 blah. They eventually prevailed, but behind that, all those schools lost funding and didn't get the same funding as Maryland. So I think that's where some of that us versus them mentality comes from, at least locally.
Sure.
Well,
You know?
I think it's also, you look at us versus them, like, look at the world we live in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything it still prevails today. Like, you got to go out there and grind because you're a black male or because you're a black woman. So it's not really something that we want to do, but it's just the nature of who we are.
Yeah, and I got this article that I read.
Here you go. Gibby got his statistics.
Article that I read from TeenVogue.com from 2016, and it had a portion in there where it says some HBCU students have issues with black students attending a PWI, and some PWI students look down on HBCU students, which causes a sort of a division in the black community. What y'all feel about that? Like, I mean, I think that's kind of what we're hitting on right now, that we are all black young men at the table, and we're kind of pushing out HBCU. Y'all kind of talking about why y'all chose y'all PWIs, but do y'all still feel like it's creating a division within the black community with just our education?
I'll say this about attending PWI. In the sense that it gets you ready for the real world, it gets you ready in order to conduct, I guess, I won't say conduct yourself, but how to conduct yourself when you're sitting in a room full of white people.
Is that code switching?
Code switching. Some people can say that.
Yeah.
Well, you ain't changing your voice.
Some folks do. Some people do.
I seen
For intimidation purposes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big black male, 6'6", 300 plus pounds, and I know for myself, I gotta downgrade myself a lot to be the big friendly guy.
Hold that thought. That's another topic. That's a whole other topic.
I was just about to say something like
Thank
that.
you, Marques.
Basically, when it, again, gets you ready to sit in a room full of white people, but again, it almost changes who you are. Like, and I almost want to say, well, does it whitewash you a little bit? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you gotta have your hair cut a certain way, dress a certain way.
That's good, Marques.
Pants
That's
are
good
cut
you
a
say
certain
that. I remember when I was in college, I had cornrows. Yeah. And when I was about to graduate, I cut my hair because I said, I'm getting ready for the real world. I have to cut my hair.
Yes.
And that was
well, now they have the Crown Act. You don't have to do that now.
That's still a debate right now. Like,
well, they passed the Crown Act. You don't have to do that no more.
Dreads are not, they're not, what is it called?
I know the word.
Corporate friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
corporate friendly.
So you go to PWI, you sit in a room full of white people, try to make yourself comfortable without making them feel uncomfortable, but they're still uncomfortable, and you're still uncomfortable. Shit, I'm 37. I'm still uncomfortable. Shit. I mean, I'm in a Microsoft Teams meeting. I'm with
only black dude.
Only fucking black person in the joint. And I'm sitting there like,
on the screen.
Right.
But I know this is another topic, but doesn't it get frustrating that they can be comfortable, but you can't?
Ooh. That's
God damn, that's another topic.
Boy. Ooh.
And you can't be comfortable because if you're comfortable, then you're yourself.
Exactly. And you can't be yourself.
I'll get into my opinion on that in a second, but
like,
I'm comfortable where I'm at.
No, like if I'm talking to a white woman, I elevate my voice a little bit.
Right.
I
do, and I find myself, I do that too. Because I don't want to be intimidated.
I may slouch down a little bit. I may not have my posture be so as quote unquote what they call dominant, meaning I'm not standing up straight. What the fuck? Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh man, this is another topic. Somebody write it down.
I mean, we'll forget about it.
Code switching. Somebody call it code switching.
Code switching is real.
So like, I mean, out of all the interviews I've had, how many can I say were black people though?
So
especially in your field.
So I did have another question for y'all, PWI gentlemen. Did going to the universities that y'all went to, did the administration look at you guys as black individuals that was not that didn't have the finances to go there? Like y'all look like y'all was like pretty much poor people, and reason you're here is because you're on a scholarship, maybe a sports scholarship, or you really didn't have the funding to go here. So we're kind of like letting you come here just because.
Is that a real thing?
No, I got an article right here.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Where
So I will say, when I went to DeMatha in high school, first thing everyone thought I was an athlete.
Because that's why 90. I ain't gonna lie to you. 90% of the brothers who go to DeMatha.
I didn't get that much at Maryland, but DeMatha hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they didn't think I was an athlete.
Yeah.
Hold on. Like, you can't see.
Did you go to private? Did you go to private school for high school?
No, I went to.
You might did bowling or something like that.
Cornhole type guy.
Tyson look athletic, man. Tyson look athletic.
Tyson do look like he could be.
Right.
I mean, you can still probably been on somebody's field though.
Exactly.
But no, I don't think they ever looked at. I never. So I was at JMU for 7 years, right? So 4 years undergrad. I worked there. It was my first job out of undergrad. Went back to grad school full time. So 7 consistent years. I never felt like anyone looked at me like I was less than, or like I was there or because I'm black or I'm on a free ride or something like that.
Did you feel like you had to find your group there, like my black group?
I think you do at PETA. I think it depends on the type of black person you are.
Okay.
Let me caveat that. I do think that there are, for me, my personal experience, when I needed support or comfort, then I had to seek that out from people that looked like me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there were spaces and opportunities for that to exist. I don't know that every black person needs what I needed. I think a lot of us do. And there are centers for multicultural student services or diversity, et cetera, where you find that home away from home, so to speak, which you all probably had just because everybody looks like you.
Yeah.
And people that are in your classes look like you, so you might feel a little bit more comfortable asking.
Well, we were split up as far as where you grew up at.
Yeah, but you didn't have to. Even if you were Baltimore or you were PG, there was still some kind of like, you black, I'm black, right? Like the same way you give somebody a head nod, you in the grocery store to another brother,
right?
Like, there's some nuance.
Yeah, because within the article that I was reading, it said HBCU. You do not have to limit yourself to just being a black person. You can just be yourself. So
that's where I think I take exception.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think I ever limited myself to being a black person on campus. Right. Okay. I think that's where this versus comes in to play a bit.
Yeah.
And I think the fault of that viewpoint is that typically we're talking about experiences that we didn't have.
Okay.
Right. So I can't speak to the HBCU experience and what it was like. Right. I only know stories from talking to you all or talking to family, et cetera.
Right.
So I can never speak on what it's like to not walk on the grass, right? Because we walked on the grass, right?
It wasn't no laying out on the grass.
Right.
That with your blanket and shit.
You wasn't on the quad.
Right. We had the bricks.
We absolutely had a good time, and you find your community, whatever it should be. And and your blackness, whether you're at HBCU or PWI, sometimes is not. Just because we black don't mean we share the same experience. The black people in London don't necessarily believe the same things we believe or like walk the same way we walk.
Respect, yeah.
Right. So same kind of situation. There's plenty of black guys were like, you give the head nod. They look the other way.
Oh, wow.
Right. They're on Greek Row and they are doing that kind of experience where you're at the kind of the black house party or the Greek house party or whatever, and you are having that experience. So I just think it just depends on kind of what type of black person you are and where you feel comfortable.
Yeah. So did you apply for any HBCUs?
Yeah. So I got into Virginia State. I got into Elizabeth City, Union, Virginia Union, because I'm from Richmond. So I did apply. I grew up on Union's campus because it's like 10 minutes from the house.
Right.
Okay.
And grew up going to Virginia State and stuff like that for activities and games and stuff like that. So the notion of an HBCU was not foreign to me at any point in time. My dad went to Virginia State, so cousins went to Morgan and Bowie. So like very well versed in it. Right?
Wow. Gotcha.
So I wanted to kind of get into one of the things that Marques said as far as being able to be yourself in your work environment or preparing yourself for work. Man, I forgot to mention why I chose A&T. I was so caught up in y'all conversation, listening to your experiences and why you chose Norfolk State, Bowie, Maryland, JMU. For me, real quick, and I'll get into this real quick because I should have said it earlier. I did have a choice to go to NC State, which is non-HBCU, and obviously I went to A&T. My degree going into fresh out of high school, I wanted to be a computer engineer. Right. I ended up going to A&T to get my degree in computer science, but NC State, I knew that was a big school. I knew all about it. I did have cousins that went to North Carolina A&T, right? So it wasn't until, and I had both offers, right, in my senior year in high school. It wasn't until, for me, I went to North Carolina A&T and I saw the atmosphere that I was going to be in.
Did you go during GHO?
And that's
changed your life.
It wasn't called GHO.
It wasn't called GHO.
I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story. So,
What called GHO?
My sister went to A&T. She is 5 years older than me.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So when I was a senior, she was in her senior year of A&T, because she's still there. And my mom, I remember this day like yesterday. My mom went to check on my sister during homecoming.
That's bad.
Yeah, I know.
That's bad. Don't do that.
At homecoming.
Senior year?
And I'm like, I'm like,
Damn.
let's do it. Man,
Joe was like, let's go.
Yo,
Changed your whole life.
Changed my life.
I can believe it.
What year was that, Joe?
This was 2000, and this was year 2000 actually.
Damn, back that ass up was out, right?
What? Not 2000 for real.
Damn.
So yeah, I was doing that.
Girl,
and,
you look good.
Like immediately when I got back home, I told my parents, I was like, yeah, it's a done deal.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Right.
But I did want to say a lot of articles that I've read came down to like affordability, because your parents afford for you to go to North Carolina or Maryland, not an HBCU. I'm gonna say that. I don't want to say PWI. For me, it wasn't the case. It wasn't about the money. Thank God I had some scholarships lined up. It didn't pay for all of my school, but it paid for some of it. It truly came down to the culture, right? Me being able to be who I wanted to be 100% of the time. And when I found out that A&T had, an engineering program that compared to some of the other colleges in North Carolina, it was a no-brainer. So, again, that weighed into my decision to go there. But, again, that culture, the atmosphere, that I felt, it was an immediate connection on the moment that I stepped on campus, and that swayed my decision. Now, I want to get into the conversation about how that school prepared me today, and that I felt like I had to, code switch, if you will. The one thing that I did from the day one that I stepped on campus, I never changed. I made sure the values and morals that I had as a young man growing up in Wilson, North Carolina, I carried those through college, and I wanted to choose a profession that allowed me to uphold those same values, right?
Okay.
Which is why I've been with my company for 16 years, right? When I walk into a meeting, I don't feel like I have to, change. I'm in my sneakers on some days. I got my J's on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not wearing a tie every day to work. But I chose that environment because it allowed me to be true to who I am, and authentic. If I gotta change my voice, if I gotta, feel like I have to, be something that I'm not in order to be successful in my profession, and it's not for me. So I just wanted to say that, and I said this one of the previous podcasts. Don't sleep on our HBCUs. And I know you guys went to y'all not, PWIs, whatever, but we have what the skills that it takes to succeed in the career field.
So I think it's interesting that the narrative is that, and I guess this is part of like professional Tyson coming in, because my work every day for the last 22 years has been in higher ed. Okay. So I think the notion that there is some type of inferiority has always baffled me about.
I think it's miseducation or ignorance on both sides,
and it's marketing, right? Like it's a. I think you mentioned it just a little bit ago in terms of like you think about the landmark lawsuit that came in Maryland, right? So that means that for probably 30 to 40 years, those 4 HBCUs did not get the funding every year that they were supposed to get from the state in order for campus to improve, whether that was buildings, academic programs, curriculum, support services, mental health, whatever the case may be. They didn't get it.
And now that you said that, when you go back, and this is for anybody, PWI, HBCU, whatever, when you go back on campus, you're going to see a difference, right?
Oh, yeah.
I go back on Bowie State campus, and really, it looks like a little University of Maryland now. A couple of years ago.
Now. Not when you were going there.
Now when I was there. But it was even worse.
Yeah.
Nah, it was more than a circle. Come on, kid. Don't talk about school, right? Everybody can't be Norfolk State with 40 buildings. But
I looked outside my dorm, and it was a rural neighborhood. Like, it was an apartment complex right there. Yeah.
But,
so.
Like, I think it was 5 years ago, I got butt sized because I was at the Metro.
Butt sized?
I got sized.
Oh, sized. Is that DC slang?
Nah, I just got butt sized. But anyway, I got sized because on the Metro station.
You got hyped up.
Yeah.
I got sliced.
Oh, sliced.
I got sliced because
PG
at the metro station.
Oh, that was PG?
That's PG.
Not even
This
DC.
guy's from Baltimore. This guy's
I'm from PG. I know.
Oh, Marques, shut up. You use the word size. Come on.
No, I never used
I think I said
I
sliced.
had to add some emphasis to
But I don't
it.
think I used sliced in this year, though. I know I have.
Anyway, I got sliced because at the metro station, I saw a Bowie State, advertisement. But what was so funny it wasn't a black dude on it. It was a white guy in a Bowie State hoodie.
Yeah, that's
Hold
marketed
on.
to the grad program.
Yeah.
That's marketed to
But
the
this
grad
is what's
program.
crazy though. Like we had white people that went to Bowie State. I had white teammates. All of them was commuters.
And they was probably kickers too.
No, one was offensive lineman.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take one. Yeah, we're doing a beer run. Hand me a Modelo, please. We're not sponsored by Modelo, but we are drinking it.
But you can sponsor them.
Yes. But so Bowie State is known for two things: education and the computer science program.
Yeah.
So majority, 90% of your teachers in the state of Maryland have went to Bowie State at one time or another.
Yeah.
Because it's a teacher's college. It started off as a teacher's college.
Yeah.
And their computer science program is top notch. So we get a lot of minority in this aspect students because believe it or not, they're minorities. And they get minority scholarships. And they're commuters. But now a lot of them stay on campus now because I go on campus and it's the demographics are so different now.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But going back to I lost my thought. Oh,
No. I wanted to piggyback off of what Tyson was saying about the schools not getting that money. I was reading an article from 2022 from Daily.com. It said the choice between an HBCU or PWI is not an easy one. Some students must prioritize funding our overall experience when applying to college. A brief by American Council on Education found that HBCU endowments are behind PWIs by 70%.
So it's funny you mentioned
Yeah.
that. It's super interesting you mentioned that because there's a clip going around Twitter, but it's from Tennessee. So Tennessee State did a remarkable job in terms of their recruitment and enrolling, and they really over-enrolled their class for fall 23. But in the fall legislative session, the president of Tennessee State, who's also the president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, she had to go before them and kind of talk about why they had so much success. And one of the senators or whatever, basically in a nutshell, asked them, you're enrolling too many black kids at the HBCU. The University of Tennessee Chattanooga can't fill their class because they're low on this particular population because they're all going to Tennessee State, right? So this notion, I think, and this is where the ebb and flows come from where like Dirty's talking about with people having the opinion of our parents' age or even, the sense that you need to go to a PWI. I think the shift is happening not only with George Floyd, but the ability to apply to multiple schools at one time, and HBCUs being able to market via social media where 16, 15, 17-year-olds are, and to be able to see G-Ho and not experience. I can't get to Greensboro to see G-Ho, but I'm in Connecticut. And I know what G-Ho is now.
Right.
And G-Ho has changed my life.
Well, they got the internet now.
Because of YouTube.
They got YouTube.
You can pull out that camera.
Funny story. I'm not trying to pause you. This is a really funny story. I was at Virginia State recruiting 2 months ago, and there was a professor there. She had some ties with North Carolina, and I was talking to her. I was giving her a heads up, hey, send your kids my way, blah, blah, blah. I told her what school I went to. Kid you not. She was like, as soon as I said North Carolina, she was like, you gonna be a G-Ho this year? You know what I'm
She had Virginia State University.
She at Virginia State talking about G-Ho. So yeah, like you said,
I would not be a Trojan, by the way. But that's a whole nother
It's one of those
story.
things the marketing piece of it, right? When you say North Carolina A&T, it's good that people associate it with homecoming, but it's also good to know that it's really a good school for people to go to.
What's that show on Netflix? with Lavetta Devine.
Oh, I hate her. Sorry.
Oh,
She gets on my nerves,
She might be
man.
sponsoring. She might be listening. Right.
I'm sorry. I don't hate you, but she is not particularly.
Loretta, I've been feeling you since Dream Girl, so don't listen to
Her voice is annoying.
We love you.
And she always play annoying characters.
But anyway, what's the show that she has on Netflix? Is a young show with the girl from the Twins.
Oh, you talking about what's that show?
Family Reunion.
Family Reunion.
Family Reunion. Anyway, they took a trip to North Carolina A&T on the show.
Nice.
Even though it wasn't actually A&T, the campus, but for them to actually show the campus and say North Carolina A&T, I was pumped up because, you know, for us, we grew up with Different World. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
But Different World really wasn't a real. Hillman wasn't really a college.
Hillman was a combination of like Howard,
Hampton.
Spelman, all of them.
Yeah, because it was
Hampton.
supposed to be based in Virginia.
I think it was filmed in Hampton too. Yeah.
Well, I think they cut and paste some of schools
Some of
down
it.
from Georgia, I think some from Virginia to kind of make up the show. But again, I was excited.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't go to A&T, but being a product from an HBCU and seeing North Carolina A&T on a Netflix show, you know, Family Reunion,
Right.
I was excited. Like, oh, man, that's pretty cool. And then, of course, you know, they brought out the fraternity and they had them step in it, all the other jazz, which was cool.
So I think outside of, I know for me and hopefully for everybody else and a couple of people I know, outside of sports, our experiences of HBCUs actually came not only from our parents but from television.
Yeah.
Spike Lee's movie, Cosby Show,
School days.
Like with us growing up, when I saw School Days, I was like,
Tisha Campbell.
wow. Like I was blown away when I seen School Days. And then to actually remember going on campus with my parents and stuff and hearing those stories, I was like, wow, I want to go.
College is supposed to be like.
Yeah. And for the most part, to be honest with you, they were pretty damn close.
Yeah.
It was pretty damn close. I know all of our experiences on HBCU campuses were very nice.
But I guess my question is for the gentleman that went to a PWI. I know for myself going to an HBCU, I didn't just make friends, but I made family. That to a point where my roommate in college was my best man at my wedding. You know, that's how much we became brothers. You know what I mean? Shout out to Dante. Again, I know y'all gentlemen personally. I know y'all. I met some of you guys friends from your college. But would y'all consider not just the black individuals that y'all went to school with, but would y'all consider some of the other cultures that y'all went to school with to be y'all family now too?
Family?
Family, not just your friends, but would y'all consider them to be family?
Like the folks you actually met and that you were with in your college, do you consider that your family now? Because I think that's one of the aspects that we all have coming from an HBCU is that literally
we live.
Yeah, we are live. That like literally everybody is family. Like TC, all those dudes that we came up with in college and stuff, literally that's our family. Have y'all had those same shared experiences where you can actually say, this is my family?
Yeah.
But another race other than being black?
No.
What about you, Tyson?
In my work career, yes. College, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I think it depends on the school and the person, but overall, same experience. Like my best men, all my groomsmen, they're my boys from school.
Gotcha.
My daughter's godparents are my people from school.
Gotcha.
Black. Now, if we go outside of somebody that is not African American, it's a select few. But I think I was also very intentional about who I associated with and how I moved on campus, right? So outside of class, my social circle was predominantly African American.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Except for, the occasional like house party.
Right.
Or,
That you-
Greek
that
Road
you-
venture, like.
You knew somebody that got you in or whatever like that.
Right. But for the most part, like, outside of class, like, I'm with people that look like me.
I primarily hung around like 3 people outside of class.
Wow.
I'm still friends with them.
So if you think about it a little bit too, like, granted, like, the black population, at least for JMU, was probably
like a small HBCU, pretty much.
Right.
yeah, I'm cautious about saying that because it is absolutely not the same experience, right?
Appreciate that.
So it because it's just not. But if you are looking at a place like say a Livingstone, right?
Okay.
That is kind of very, very small, or like a Miles College that is very small.
Or Cheney back in the day.
Claflin, Cheney.
Yeah.
Right? Like these are really central. These are really kind of small HBCUs compared to the Centrals or the Howards or the FAMs, right? And their homecomings are popping as well. It may not be G-Hope, but it's popping. But it is, you get a solid number. We have an event. We have a chocolate city or a party. Like, it's gonna be a couple hundred people, right? Like it may not be a 500 or 600, right? But you got a good 150.
And see, that's the difference. Like, you throw a party on HBCU campus, it gotta be sanctioned.
Yeah.
They throw a party.
I know. I mean, they got a lot of houses.
And I gotta get this story in. So one of my experiences, I had a friend of mine. Her name was Yolanda. We grew up together. She went to Townsend. And first time I went to Townsend, shut up. I'm so used to being at an HBCU. You have visitation hours.
Nah.
Oh yeah. We had rules.
We got rules. So when I walked,
trying not to make sure people wasn't getting pregnant.
So when I walked to her, what's up?
What are visitation?
Hey, bro.
Oh, bro. All right. So let's go around real quick. So at Bowie State, if you were a freshman, you got visitation after homecoming. Visitation will start.
You got visitation after home. What is visitation?
So you got to remember. Oh, man. All right. So visitation, basically, you stay in a freshman dorm. We had girls on one side, we had guys on the other.
Or you had them by floors.
No, we ain't do that shit.
That's how y'all did at the PWI.
We ain't do that shit. No.
I've been in University of Maryland before.
Right, I've been in Maryland before. I got some.
It's not that show.
We could go there. But, so, after homecoming, freshmen would get visitation. Visitation will run from 3 p.m. to 12. So, from 3 p.m. to 12 during the week. And then on Fridays, Saturdays, it will go from 3 to 7 in the next morning.
How do you remember these hours, man?
Dude, it was built into our head. Now,
wow.
You did not have you had visitation, but you didn't have visitation if you moved to the Mecca. That's where I met Val at Haley Hall. Haley Hall had the suites, and they were mixed. Okay. Now, the football players, we stayed on the 6th floor. The whole floor was female, but our suite was just all football players. And Val lived on the 4th floor. So all I had to do was just go down the steps, knock on the door. That's it. But yeah, we had visitation hours. So I go to Townsend, and I'm like, you got a guy that lives right next door to you. What the hell? Like, he walking from the shower, and I'm like, what kind of shit is this?
It was a whole nother.
It blew my mind.
I think, and the sad part about it for me is, it's almost kind of like when you tell your kids not to do something they want to do it. It was almost the same thing at the HBCU. Like, oh, you ain't allowed to do X, Y, and Z. So we were finding ways to do it.
Set off a lot of alarms.
Going across the roof, all that. I done hid on the media beds. Oh, man.
So, I mean, it's ridiculous kind of with the rules. And I feel like probably, I don't know the true statistics, but our pregnancy rate probably is more higher than the PWI because
y'all a lot of people second semester. You ain't see them second semester.
Right. You're right. What did the old heads always just say? You see them first semester, second semester, your freshman class going to thin out because a lot of those, girls and guys were locked up, and after homecoming, whatever, we said this last, I wouldn't say last, but one of the previous podcast episodes we recorded was,
for a lot of people, that was their time to mature, right? It was their
Yeah.
first time being away from their parents.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think that's why the rules were there.
17,
You know what I'm
18
saying?
years
Like,
old.
yeah, what? I'm out here on my own, doing my own
Right.
thing. My mom's not telling me I got to be home for dark or or whatever it is. I feel like I'm grown right now.
You get that phone call at 2 in the morning. You might roll out.
I had to roll up because I remember my freshman year. I had my car. I'm in my room at 8:00 doing homework, and I'm like, wait the fuck a minute. I said, I am not at home. I got a car. Why am I in my room at 8:00 prepping to go to bed?
Wow.
I got into my car and just drove around just because I could.
Right.
But going back to the
Looking for
beginning
some
of
action.
all of this, right? Going back to the beginning of all this, the good Lord knew, and my father knew, that if I had that much freedom going to a PWI, I probably wouldn't have finished. I needed that structure. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the key, though, right? So I think that's where, as parents, we have to help our kid make the determination about what's the best environment. I'll never forget this when I was courting my wife. Her mom went to Virginia State. Shout out to my mother-in-law. But we were sitting there talking because we were both in education, and she was like, I knew my son needed a Virginia State. I knew he needed that environment to be successful. I wasn't worried about my daughter. My daughter could go to a PWI and she'd be just fine.
Right.
Right? She wouldn't
know your
fall
kids.
to the
You gotta know your
same-
kids.
Right? So I think that's the goal and the purpose
Yeah.
behind it. And my wife and I were talking about it before I came on, like, what do I say? And like, she asked me, what were you going to say? I was like, it's not my job to tell my daughter where to go. Right. My job is to make sure that she has
That's a nice segue.
information.
Perfect segue.
the right
we have the
information to
time?
make.
No, we got the time. Perfect
But
segue.
even
ahead.
before we get into that, though, interesting. You wasn't even on you're a special guest. You wasn't on one of the previous episodes. That was one of the discussions. Verbatim, what you said is,
Yep.
now more than ever, our parents have to help their kids and guide them, knowing their personality, choose where they're going to
Right.
go.
Yeah.
Whether it be a HBCU, whether it be a PWI, whether it's military.
Yep.
You have to be involved in your kids' post-high school lifestyle.
Yeah,
whatever
absolutely.
it be.
That's why I ain't go to Bethune-Cookman. My father knew. He was like, you ain't going down there. Daytona Beach.
Down
Shit.
south too.
Yep. He was
Boy,
like,
that's down south. Ooh, sorry, I'm not even gonna say it.
That's why FAMU wasn't there, 'cause he knew Florida State was across the street. My ass would have been over there every
Did you
night.
say street or street? Street.
All right, so let's go around with that final question. I mean, Tyson kicked it off. We ain't even have to prompt him. You know what I'm saying? What do we tell our kids?
What's the actual question?
So we're going to get into, as we close, you chose your HBCU or your PWI for a reason. Would you want your child to follow your footsteps and go to that same school, or would you, push them in a different avenue?
It's her choice. I think my wife's job, is to make sure that she is making an informed decision. I think my child will have it, unfortunately, a little bit harder, given that I work in higher ed. Right, I work in admissions, so it's going to be hard for me to turn off work Tyson and just be dad in this process, because I'm thinking about retention rates and graduation rates and what's the average indebtedness for a graduate from this institution, what kind of support systems do they have, all those things that make the experience in the classroom worthwhile and make this the best place for you. But she goes wherever she want to go.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Brother Marques?
Yeah, same as what Tyson said. For the most part, my job is to guide you in life. Picking a college is probably going to be one of, if not the first major decision in your life. You got to deal with it, not me. You got to pay those student loans back, not me.
He taking that angle.
No, you gonna make them pay the student loans, not do the
Student
529.
loans will be in your name, not mine.
Marcus said, I got plans for my money.
Doing that Parent Plus loan, huh?
Man, hey, look, I'm going to say this real quick. With my kid, especially with my oldest, she pretty much already has in her head where she want to go. She want to be a Spelman girl. So
Nice.
Oh, wow.
definitely, she said she want to go to Spelman and move to California and leave us for a while.
Nothing wrong with that,
And she
bro.
been saying that for years. So we just going to support her in that. And
What about your other two?
well, Sarai says she want to be a policewoman or a firewoman.
Oh goodness!
So-
I used to ride on that.
And that's what she want to do.
can see
And
it
you
doing
know,
Baby girl ain't like
baby girl just like, I just want to get to 9 months. That's all. Give me real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah. For myself, I think I'm kind of leaning more towards what Marques was saying about kind of letting my kids make their own decision. Even though I know my wife is kind of pushing them to be an in-state. But I keep
And state look real good.
I keep telling her, I said, Maryland don't have that many schools to choose from. She originally from Virginia, and Virginia got a slew. That means a lot of colleges to choose from. But again, at this particular point, I think I will let them kind of make that decision. But of course, I'm going to show them Norfolk State University, and my wife also went to James Madison University. So they've been on that campus. They love it. I mean, again, we talked about the landscaping piece.
Right.
But again, I think I will let them kind of make that decision.
All right. And finally, Joe.
Yeah, so one thing I want to do real quick is just kind of piggyback on the previous episode. We ended that conversation with would we let our daughters go to the HBCU? I remember vividly looking at T and seeing his eyes. We was like, ooh, I don't know. So I don't want people to, when they hear that episode, to think that we're saying that the HBCU is not good enough for our daughters. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
I know some women that is doing very well in corporate America. The HBCU molded them to who they are. So that's not the intent of my conversation. I don't want to limit them. That was really what I wanted to say.
I think my little still on, or my hesitation, I guess I should say more than anything, is about just a female being an HBCU gets kind of seen a little bit more, because y'all know.
Yeah,
guys can be hunters. That's all I'm saying.
That's good. Yeah, but
That's a whole.
Similar to what the other guy said, it's about helping our children make the right sort of choice, and knowing, getting involved, right? Getting involved, knowing what your children strengths and weaknesses are, and putting them in the right environment for them to succeed.
There it is. Not alone. There it is. Well, look, hey, we can go on all night, and definitely we can. But we just want to say thank you for this is a good one. Thank you for Tyson for coming out, man. We appreciate it. You know, you got an open invite anytime. And
hey, by the way, talking out the side of your neck. Yeah. All right, you got that?
But he hit. Oh, definitely.
It doesn't sound like that, though.
No, not even close.
All right, y'all.
They don't play it.
This is it. We out of here. Y'all have a good one, all right? Peace.